Yeah.
Good gaming, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Nidor. Today we're gonna watch some Noob play cEDH. In today's game, we have in turn order. We have Baylen, RogTea, Wheeliod, and Derevi. Baylen, kind of new to the scene, was publicized by a comedian. Fell a little bit down. It's an AI commander that does. He could do pod Hulk thing. However, he is. You need to build him a little bit different. So you need to make a bunch of token, and then you've got an outlet in your command zone. Problem is, Curse Totem is popular nowadays, and the more we've got Curse Totem around, the more commander-centric commander, like well, of course, Derevi to bring it back to your end, or Thrasios, Iliad. You cannot flip Iliad if you've got Curse Totem. So all commander-centric commander are kind of hard to play, and totally understandable. RogTea is looking to be a little bit more turbo than any Thrasios combo. Rogue is there to power up all free commander spells, also to be able to sacrifice him to I believe there's some ritual that are sacrifice a creature and do something. Wheeliod, it's because he wants to flip and he wants to wheel. Once he wheel, every opponent that draws a card makes his spell cost one colorless less. The problem is that he can play at instant speed, so he can wheel at instant speed and gets a win out of his ass from nowhere. Super dangerous, not easy to spot before you're actually done. So, like any other commander-centric commander deck, don't let him flip. Don't let him on the board. Derevi is there. He wants to get on the board, on-tap something, retap something for a bunch of mana, and then go to combat. And then for each creatures that connect, he will be able to untap something. Usually it's going to be more of a Nemiel Ephemerate Flicker deck. So you get Teferi out, you get Emiel, and then every time you flicker Derevi, you will be able to get a on tap of something. Most of the time it's going to be a Gaia's Cradle or something that makes a lot of mana, and then you can tap, reactivate Emiel, reflip Derevi, and then you've got infinite mana. What is the out after that? I don't know. Usually you've got him in Nagila to get infinite combat step, but since he is not in red, I don't know what are the Derevi out. I am not gonna lie, ladies and gentlemen, we are in for a long run. RogTea drops a Gemstone Cavern. Wheeliod and Baylen are Staxi deck. RogTea, not so much. Derevi and Temple Garden into a Land of War Elves for Baylen. I'd have to say, with the color he has, Derevi, I'm pretty sure he is Staxi too. Cloud of Fairy taps to untap. If I remember correctly, Cloud of Fairy is on ETB untap to land. Wheeliod, Darkar's Waste, I believe. It's the Painland. Archon of Memoria, turn 2, seat 1. That's the kind of game that is going to take forever. Derevi played a land and did nothing. RogTea is kind of dangerous at that point. Because he can actually activate Thrasios right now. Fetch land entering tapped. Sowing Miko Spawn, I believe. So when it ADBs, he gets a land. If he kicks it, I believe there's something else. So he'll be able to go get a land. Enlightened Tutor for Derevi. Drops Minamo. Oh god, Minamo can untap Gara's Cradle. I absolutely forgot about that interaction. Drops a... So Wheeliod drops a Ancient Tube, passes the turn. Derevi went and got his Mana Vault from Enlightened. Drops a Tropical, tap for his Mana Confluence, plays a Mana Vault. So this is worrisome for the... because we've got RogTea in a super advantageous place. Pretty sure we're not going to be able to do much, so we need to stack him just to be sure that he cannot do anything. Archon is a good thing, however, it does not stop Thrasios from drawing 2 cards per rotation, which is super dangerous. Survival of the Fittest and Baylen. Baylen passed, but you need to remember, always attack if you've got some space. Not a lot of people, or there's no black on the board, so not a lot of people will be using Anos or Necropotence. However, I wouldn't scoff at the idea that in a super long Staxi game, and it gets to beatdown, you need to be sure that you don't make any error. Haldrick Evolution on the Mycosynth, whatever. It's Lily Splash Mentor. So right now he could generate infinite mana. Lily Splash Mentor, 1 green blue, exile another target creature you control and return it to the battlefield under its owner's controller. So it's a flicker at sorcery speed. He can have infinite mana, draw his library. It's like, yes, so technically it could be game. However, because it's 1 spell per turn, he cannot loop whatever he wanted to loop. And if he draws his deck, he needs to draw your deck, get an answer to Archon. You've got infinite mana of every color that you want. Well, blue, you've got infinite blue and green. And he played his spell per turn, so he cannot just go get a burn spell. Then kill Archon, because he cannot kill Archon, and he cannot do Lily Splash Mentor as a instant because it's sorcery speed only. So he'll be going through a few Thrasios activation, puts him into an even more advantageous location. Born Upon a Wind, Fierce Guardianship. Wheeliod goes, draw, and pass. Brutality of Archon of Emeria. City of Traitor. Passes. Drops a Jolly Balloon Man to Survival of the Fittest. Targeting, so the Derevi player is asking me, what are you going to get? And I'm like, Dranolin Vala? That's like the only way we can stop Thrasios and Lily Splash Mentor. So there's a bunch of politicking around, like, I'm gonna counterspell your stuff. And I'm like, you know, it might be nice. You may be able to stop something, but... So I am allowed to fetch into my library. I need something that stops creature activation, or... Oh, this is the way I'm thinking. Because the other thing is, I don't have the mana for that Dranolin Vala. However, there is a way to stop the combo, which is stopping ETBs. Cloud of Fairies is on ETB, untap 2 land. If I have Doorkeeper Troll that I saw a little bit earlier, this is something. Because I've got green, white, Emergent Zone, and green. Trandalisvana is white, black 1, which is a problem. White and green goes and drop Doorkeeper Troll. This will essentially stops the Cloud of Fairies combo. On end of turn, he will Worldly Tutor, flashing in Aven Mind Sensor to go get into his top 4. Shows an Imperial Recruiter, dropping a land. Don't know which one it was. Ooh, casting Volatile Stormdrake. Sure, but Doorkeeper Troll has no ATB. End of turn, Frantic Search. Drops Fabricate, Frantic Search, and something else. Well, even if you wanted to keep Fabricate, he cannot go. Well, he can go fetch in his top 4, which could be something. So on its step, he was about to try to cast something else, but Archon is still there. Drops a Minamo in play. Will drop Wheeliod. Passes to Derevi. Drops a One Ring. Time to draw some cards. Drops a Temple Gardens. Sacrificed City of Traitors. So the joy of one spell per turn is that you are sure that you're going to be able to establish a game plan before having to pass to something else. The issue with that is it takes forever. Delighted Halfling entering, going on the board. So everything is a problem. Doorkeeper Troll is blocking the infinite. Archon is blocking casting more spell. Activate Thrasios, end of turn. Finally of Devastation. Finally would Earth, but he needs to kill the Doorkeeper Troll first. So I'm like saying, why don't you crack your fetch? And I'm like, I could try. But there's Aven Mind Sensor. Why would I crack and try to go top 4, see something? Goes to end turn. 1, 2, 3 for the Imp Recruiter. No top 4, so it goes to search. Remembers that he can only search his top 4. And then we're saying, well, you don't search. There's no ETB with Doorkeeper Troll. And we're like, This is why I hate stacks game. Even though I am the one playing Baylen and I am the one staxing everybody else. It's just super weird. 1, 2, 3 tries to flip Wheeliod. On answer, Derevi will draw a card. So I'm pointing to the fact that even though there is only one spell per turn for Wheeliod, that's going to be Flash. It's going to be 4 spells per rotation. So he is going to be way more ahead than we are. And since everybody draws at least one card, any one CMC mana rock will be free. So it is something. So people are complaining about lands. And I'm like, Derevi is casted. Nothing gets untapped because there's no ATB thanks to Darker Patrol. Taps the ring to draw 2. Oh god. Wheeliod up to 3. Haven Mind Sensor swinging at Wheeliod. With the attack, he'll be able to untap his Mana Vault, which is... already took 6 from it, so it's not bad. End step. Like I was saying, he has 1 spell per turn. So Wheeliod is now a socialist. It's not your turn, it's our turn. So that's what I was saying, 1 spell per turn is dangerous with someone that has flash. 1, 2, 3 and drops Baylen. Spell of the turn and pass. Desperate. RogTea will try to look for a forest in his top 4. No luck, will have to shuffle his library. Rax Polluted Delta just in case he could get an all-in. He has some duels, he has some shock, and no luck. It is actually super horrible. So in Baylen's end, he most probably does not have any creatures or does not have any land. I don't even know which turn we're at, but we're most probably at, well, turn 4th at least. 5th turn? 5th turn, only 3 lands. Scry 1 tries to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reveals a Cloudstone Curio. Wheeliod goes up to 2. Goes and on tap is Gara's Cradle. So around the table they're saying, oh, please stop drawing cards, and then the guy just draw 2 cards from his One Ring. Ooh, Volcanic. Has 1 mana. Ooh, Forest. So we got 2 lands. So on the Grim, I had to exile the Wheeliod. He has a right to go get an island. Top 4. Taps for 6. Taps and taps to get another 6 mana. 12, 14, 13, 15, 14, 15. Finally of Devastation for 12. Finally for 14. The search is irrelevant. The thing is 14 damage times 6 could actually kill 1 or 2 players. Wouldn't kill everybody. Pact of Negation to remove that. Goes and recast Wheeliod. On tap upkeep, he will go and pay for his pact. Goes to combat with Derevi to untap some stuff. Untaps Mana Vault in a land. Personally? So I know it's 1 spell per turn and he didn't play a spell. So each Derevi activation is Derevi trigger happens once separately. So it could have untap tap the One Ring, untap tap the One Ring twice to draw like 9 cards. But sure, if he's already discarding stuff, might be a good idea to just not draw a ton more card. Taps for 2 to drop a Null Rod. Through the same shenanigans of Trashios. Well, taps Cradle for 6. Activate Trashios, see what he can get. Shows a Swan Song. 2, 3, 4. Reactivate Trashios. Goes to the bottom, reveal a Flare of Duplication. He gets bullied into cracking his Vert Catacomb. Trying to look for... Oh god! Got a tropical island off the top 4. After his two other fetches, he was finally able to do something. He should have never fetched. But yeah, who knows? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Drops a Relic of Legend that does absolutely nothing. Cracks Scalding Tarn for the lol, most probably. Gets something. Of course, it's easier in a 2-color deck than a 3-color deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. What is he counting? 7, sorry. Goes and tries to flip Wheeliod. End of turn, Worldly Tutor for Derevi. Everybody's baiting some counter spells. Worldly Tutor on Derevi could go get something relevant. Fears the Worldly Tutor. Don't know why he fears, he could have Swan Song. Ooh, drops in Delny. Razorgrass Ambush on Mind Sensor. Presuming I have a reason to do that. Oh god, I've got Survival of the Fittest on the board. Sure. Mind Sensor gets destroyed after some politicking about do we snap the Mind Sensor. Survival of the Fittest before damage. Pitching Kikijiki. So I dropped Kikijiki. What could I go get? I'm pretty sure I don't have Felidar Guardian, and even if I had him, I need to cast him from end. Unless I have Karmic Guide in end, I still need to pitch one of them. Wildfire Ambusher. So Wildfire Ambusher is a way to create a bunch of tokens. Tokens, of course, will allow me to draw and make some get some extra cards. Deals damage twice, will untap for deals damage on 2 different players, will trigger Derevi 4 times. Passes turn, does a copy artifact on the Grim Monolith. A 1-ring. Sure. Copies 1-ring in a Null Rod. Eight for Wildfire Awakener. Exit equal 5, because of course he had to have Convoke. He'll try on it to create 6 mana and do a Trashios activation. So we need to get a Force counterspell, otherwise he cannot do, or a Pact of Negation maybe. Reveals a Hullbreaker. Oh god. Sure, that is something. So Wildfire Awakener ETBs. I'll be able to make some elementals that when they get tapped, it deals 1 to any opponent. So we saw him grab Hullbreaker Horror. He could actually just cast it and try to win off of it. Personally, I would just wait until you have to counter something. So casting Hullbreaker Order. So 1 spell per turn, pass. So on upkeep, he casts Born Upon a Wind. On cast, Hullbreaker Order triggers target Archon of Emeria. I'm saying it's a bad idea that they do that. However, he's there to win on the sack anyway. So Born Upon a Wind, does the Born Upon a Wind resolve? So if Born if Born Upon a Wind resolve, he'll be able to do a bunch of stuff. So on the target, so is wondering if it's too late to actually do anything. So when the moment the Hullbreaker targeted the Archon of Emeria, he should have countered he should have automatically countered the Born Upon a Wind, because if it happens, sure, Death Swat gets... So Otawara tries to get rid of the... Okay, so Otawara on the Hullbreaker. Deflecting Swat, with Deflecting Swat is cast. Hullbreaker gets a trigger. Trigger its bouncing back Wheeliod. Wheeliod is bounced back. So Born, down back to Born. Draws a card. Now we can cast anything that costs 1 or 0. Still at upkeep. Can play as at flash speed, so we can actually just... Okay, tap 2 to untap the Garrus Cradle. So if he casts anything, he can bounce the Null Rod. Sure. So Cloudstone, cast on Cloudstone, Hullbreaker trigger. I believe he should be bouncing Rograk. Bounces Null Rod. So back on Cloudstone, he tries to draw a card. Derevi will One Ring also. 4 for one guy, 1 for the other guy. So at this point, he didn't even need Cloudstone Curio. He could have just used the Hullbreaker Order to bounce Rograk and the Cloud of Fairies. At this point, he will Overloaded Cyclonic Rift. Force of Will on the Overloaded Cyclonic Rift. Fluster for 5, all targeting the Cloudstone, the Cyclonic Rift. On cast of Cloud, Hullbreaker triggers Bounce Back Rograk. Tries to cast Silence, which doesn't really matter because it can just cast Rograk, bounce back the Cloud of Fairies. Yep. Cast Rograk. Kraken trigger. Actually bounce the Silence. I was about to say bounce the Fairy, but it doesn't need to bounce the Fairy. Now that technically it could activate Rograk. Yeah, so he can blue and 1 cast Cloud of Fairy. Hullbreaker, bring back Rog. Yeah, he has... So at this point, either with Cloudstone or with Hullbreaker, he was going infinite anyway. Cast Rograk. Cloudstone with Cloud of Fairy can bounce them back. Cloud of Fairy will untap an island and a Gas Cradle. On ETB of the Cloud of Fairy, it will also bounce back Rograk. Recast Rograk. Bounce Cloud of Fairy. Recast Cloud of Fairy with the Gas Cradle and the island. Re-untap, makes infinite green. Goes through his deck. He can play play at flash speed anyway. So now he can cast whatever he wants, and he will most probably kill us. I don't know how. Congratulations to the RogTea player. It was a super long game. You guys may not see it, but it was a 1 hour 15 minutes game. I hope it's going to be super short. If you learned anything, please leave a comment below. Of course, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next game.